guys and welcome back to my channel. So today I am back with another video, and today I'm actually going to be, oh there's a tractor, and today I'm going to be doing a foundation testing video. It's been a long time since last time I did one of these, and I am so excited because I finally got my hands on the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation. This is now sold on Beauty Bay, which is like a UK makeup website that has a lot of like American brands on it, so I will leave the link to where you can buy this in the description bar below. But I'm going to be testing this foundation. I'm going to be doing first impressions of how it applies, what the packaging's like all my other testing videos. I am going to be doing a wear test for this as well, so you can see how long it lasts on my particular skin type. If you are new to my channel, however, then don't forget to hit that little subscribe button. If you haven't already, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you do end up enjoying it. And without further ado, I'm going to show you my first thoughts on this foundation. So as you may be able to tell, I've actually done my eyebrows, but I don't actually have anything else on. I'm just gonna have a quick run through the packaging and just tell you the basics of this foundation. This foundation, I've got this in the shade Soft Ivory. It does actually look like quite a good skin match for me, which I am so glad about, because when I ordered it online, I was a little bit worried because from the swatches it looked very yellow toned. My skin is more like neutral to pink undertones. I was worried that it'd be way too yellow on me, but it doesn't actually look that yellow. It does look like it'll be quite a good match, which I really hope it is. As you can see, it just comes in a plastic packaging. Nothing too radical. Like, this foundation's only £6. It is also cruelty free, and I don't know if it's vegan. It doesn't say that it's vegan, but it is cruelty free. You know what? I'm just gonna Google how much product you actually get in each bottle. I was actually looking for how much product is in this online, and I realised that it says right at the front of the packaging. So obviously I'm a little bit blind. It does actually come with 30 millilitres of product, which is like your standard sort of foundation, which isn't too bad for £6. Like, this is an affordable drugstore foundation. One other drugstore foundation that I do enjoy is the Makeup Revolution foundation stick. I do find that it's quite dewy on my skin, which I really like. The Sleek Life Proof foundation, I quite like that one. And as opposed to like high end, just so you've got kind of got an idea of the foundations that I gravitate towards, I love the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. And I also have started to like the Milani Conceal 2-in-1 concealer foundation. It's only £13. You can get that on Beauty Bay as well. That's another foundation that I've been liking, just so you've kind of got that sort of vibe as to what I like. So I like sort of like a dewy slash semi-matte foundation. They're kind of like my favourite foundations that I feel are most comfortable on my skin. When you open the packaging up, as you can see, like, let me just unscrew it. So basically it has one of these like applicators, rather than being a foundation with a pump, which I don't know how I feel about that. I've never really used a foundation with an applicator before. Normally the foundations that I like have a pump, and they're kind of like a standard foundation. It's a little bit daunting that it has an applicator, but we're still gonna roll with it. Firstly, obviously, before I apply the foundation to my face, just like any other foundation review that I've done in the past, I'm actually gonna prime my face. And today I'm gonna go in with my Makeup Revolution Ultra Strobe Cream, only because I've been loving this for summer, because it gives me such like a dewy, nice, glowy finish. Every time that I've done like a natural sort of like everyday look, I've used this. I'm actually not doing anything today, and I'm not going out, so I'm not going crazy with my makeup, so I'm gonna actually use this for my primer. It's actually a really good primer because it is rather quite sticky, so if you want a dewy sort of look, especially for summer, this is so good. You don't need a lot either. Like, sometimes I put way too much on my face and I'm like, what have I done? You see, it just gives like such a nice glowy look. Okay, so my face is feeling really nice and tacky, so we've got a really nice base. I totally forgot what I was going to say then. I was like, Becca, where were you going with this? So I'm actually going to go in with the foundation. I think the technique for this is to just like plop it on my face, just like I would with concealer, I guess. I'm also going to do one side using my beauty blender and one side using my brush, just like I would with any foundation review, just so you can kind of see what side blends best. I'm trying to get my hair out of the way because I'm going to get foundation on my hair. Oh, felt really weird. I don't even know how much to put on. Like, I just keep dipping it in. Like, is that the right technique? Oh, maybe it might help if I use a mirror. I think I need a little bit more on my cheeks. Like, normally I go for like, normally I apply quite a bit of foundation on because I do like quite a full coverage sort of look. I mean, I'm not a fan of the applicator, first off, but I feel like if you use this all the time, you'd probably get used to it. I'm going to take this side, I'm going to blend it in with my brush. Oh my god, that actually blends really nicely, and that's such a good colour match. It looks so nice with the strobe cream underneath. That's nice. And then next I'm going to take the beauty blender and I'm going to blend it out this side. I definitely prefer using a beauty blender to using a brush. I feel like a brush occasionally gives you more coverage, but I just feel like everything blends so much nicer with a beauty blender and it's so much quicker. Okay, so actually, that is really nice. I feel like it did give a little bit more coverage with a brush, which to be honest, foundations normally do. But normally I blend my foundation in with a beauty blender because I feel like it blends a lot nicer. So I would probably use a beauty blender next time, but I'm not mad. Like, this side is the beauty blender side and I still think this looks really nice. I'd say that the finish is kind of like a semi-matte sort of finish. I wouldn't say that it was mega matte, but I wouldn't say that it was mega dewy. Like, please keep in mind that I did use the dewy strobe cream underneath, so that's why my skin might look a little bit more shiny, because the strobe cream will be coming through. As opposed to the foundation, I feel like that looks so nice. I really like the coverage as well. That's quite nice coverage. So next up, I'm going to go in with concealer. By the way, I have got some other Wet n Wild products for this video, but I don't have enough for like a full face of first impressions. I didn't actually buy the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Concealer. I think it's the Photo Focus Concealer, because it didn't look light enough, and normally I use a conceal to like brighten up my under eyes. So like always, I'm actually going to go in with my Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer. This is in the shade 0.5. No, I feel like I'm cheating a little bit. Oh my god, that is really bright compared to my foundation. I feel like that actually worked quite nicely with the foundation. I'm kind of loving how it's all looking. Like, put it into perspective, that foundation was literally £6. Like, this is your affordable everyday sort of foundation. I probably would actually go out on a night out with this foundation as well. I'm actually quite surprised because I didn't think I'd like it as much. I was a little bit skeptical, especially of the colour, but it's actually a really good colour match. Okay, so next up, I'm going to set everything in place and I'm going to go back in with another Wet n Wild product. So I'm going to take the Wet n Wild Photo Focused Pressed Powder. This is in the shade Warm Light. Do you know what? It actually looks like quite a good colour match. Normally powders scare me a little bit because some powders can be way too dark, and like even if my foundation matches me when it first goes on, then normally when I powder over the top, then sometimes it can go a little bit too pink and a little bit too dark. But we're going to give this a try because it actually does look like quite a good colour. All these Wet n Wild products are cruelty free, by the way. Oh my god, it feels so smooth. Oh my god. Powder actually did a really good job of setting everything in place. Like, my face doesn't actually feel that tacky, and I like the colour as well, so I feel like that's going to be like my everyday sort of powder. Can't remember how much this is. Shall we check? So this powder was actually £4.50, so with the powder and the foundation it literally costs £10.50 to pretty much get your everyday sort of look. It's so affordable and I would definitely use these again. Ugh. I'm trying to reach the box and I can't quite get it in. Next, I'm going to move on to mascara because that's actually the next Wet n Wild product that I have. So I'm going to go in with the Wet n Wild Lash Renegade? Please say I've said that right. Mascara. I actually bought it because it's got cool packaging. This was £6 and literally the only reason why I bought it was because I felt like it had cool packaging. Like, Wet n Wild do quite a few mascaras, and they do some mascaras that are also cheaper than this. But look at the packaging. Like, look at that. Like, is that not the coolest thing that you've seen from a drugstore brand? Or is that not the coolest thing that you've seen? Oh my god, this wand is so cool. That actually did make my lashes longer. Like, I have naturally short lashes as it is. It like separated my lashes really nicely, so I feel like if you had longer lashes than I do, then this would be perfect for you. I feel like it didn't do a crazy amount for my bottom lashes, so I'd probably use another mascara for that. I actually really like that. It separated them really nicely. The final Wet n Wild product that I've actually got to use is the Wet n Wild Highlighting Powder. This is in the shade Precious Petals. When I looked at the swatches, I was like, maybe I can just get away with this because I'm so pale, and it was the only highlighter left on the site, and I really wanted to try one of the highlighters. I just open it up. This packaging is so hard to open. This is what the highlighter looks like outside of the packaging. Let me just check how much this one was. Highlighting powder was £3.75. Like, literally, I've already given it a little swatch. It is honestly, I'm hoping you can see that. I've literally all day been going like this. I feel like it's a little bit too dark, which I'm quite sad about, so if it looks too dark on me, then I'm sorry, but I really want to give this a go. So I'm just going to put it on my face because I'm not going out today and no one's going to see me other than the people watching this video. Oh my god, can I put any more on? let's put more on. I feel like on me, that's actually not too bad. Oh, just cover my whole face in highlighter. A little bit more on, because you can never have too much highlight. Okay, so it's so nice. Oh, I'm so happy. So basically this is what the foundation looks like with the powder after it's just been applied. So you can tell that it's kind of giving my face a really nice flawless finish. This spot that was chilling down here is currently gone. I am quite lucky that I don't really have that many blemishes and spots anyway, like I probably get the odd one. I would say that the coverage is really good. Sorry, I'm back again really quickly. I did actually forget to set my face in place, which is what I normally do. I'm sweating so much right now because it's so hot in this house, so I do need this. Set my face in place, I'm going to use the Revolution Pro Supreme Hold Finishing Spray. Hopefully that'll set my foundation in place all day. Fingers crossed. So like any other foundation review, I'm actually gonna go and get on with my day, and I'm gonna do hourly sort of check-ins. As normally I do like hourly to 2 hourly sort of check-ins, but I will do a few check-ins over the day so you can see how well this foundation wears and how well everything stays on. So yeah, I will be back in a bit to show you how this foundation is getting on my face. Okay, so I've had the foundation on for an hour now, and this is what it looks like on my skin. I've realised that the highlighter is actually too dark for me. I've got highlighter lines, but nevertheless, we know first impressions and all that. However, the foundation actually doesn't look too bad on me. Like, I thought it would crease around my smile lines more than it has done, but it actually hasn't that much. Like, it has done a little bit, but it hasn't really as much as some of my other foundations. Like, it's kind of a given that they sink into my smile lines, but this hasn't that much. Still alright around my nose. It's pretty much okay. Like, I wouldn't say it's even oxidized. I'd say it's pretty much the same colour as it was when I first applied it. It does feel a little bit heavy on my face though, which might be because it's quite full coverage anyway. And normally if it's full coverage foundation, it's quite a thick formula, which it was, and it's quite like heavy. It doesn't feel too bad. I can definitely feel like I've got foundation on. It's not like the most comfortable foundation in the world, but it looks really, really nice. So it's kind of a given when you wear foundation that there's not that many that you can't really feel it. But yeah, after an hour, I'd say that it's still a winner. I've had this foundation on for 3 hours now. It's currently 6:30. There's not that much to report on. Like, it hasn't oxidized. It hasn't really broken up anywhere either. Like, my smile lines, once again, aren't even that bad. Like, I thought they'd be a lot worse than this. The only one thing that I do regret is how dark the highlighter is. Like, you can see there, the peach marks. But it's okay, because we were doing a first impression. So ignore that bit, that's not the foundation, that's literally the highlighter. But I've got used to how it feels. Like, it does feel actually okay now. It doesn't feel as heavy as it was. It's kind of like came into its own, I guess. But yeah, I still think it looks quite nice and still actually enjoying it. I don't think it's broken up that much on my forehead. Like, normally I have really bad crease marks on my forehead and like around my smile lines, but there's really not that much. So yeah, so far so good. Okay, so it's currently 9 o'clock, so I've had this foundation on now for 5.5 hours, and I am so impressed by how it's looking. Like, normally foundations crease badly on my smile lines. It has done a little bit, to be fair, and crease a lot around my forehead, which, to be fair, it has done. Like, you can see that it's been creasing on my forehead and around my smile lines. It hasn't like majorly creased or majorly sunk into many of my dry patches. Maybe that's because my skin isn't as dry at the moment as it normally is in like the winter sort of time. It's a lot more normal now, and I don't suffer with oily skin. Genuinely, it just seems like it stayed on so nicely, and it still looks so nice as well. Just £6. £6. It hasn't oxidized whatsoever. This has lasted really, really well. I know it's only been on for 5.5 hours. Like, that's not like a lot of time. That's probably like you going out for lunch and maybe popping back home again, but 5.5 hours and it looks like that. That's pretty impressive. So I'm back for my second to last check-in. It's currently 10:30, so I've had this on for 7 hours now, and this is what it's looking like. It's not looking as good as it did a couple of hours ago. Zoom it in a little bit more so you can see. Oh my god, that's really zoomed in, but at least you can see what I'm talking about. So basically, around my nose, it started to separate here. Like, quite bad. Like, it's actually separated quite bad here. My smile lines are quite bad here as well. So yeah, they've definitely sunk into my smile lines there and my dry patches here because it's badly broken up around my nose. I wouldn't say it's majorly bad. Like, it's not a major thing, and just to put it out there, I haven't like repowdered or like put any more like foundation. I reckon if you kept powdering on top, then it would probably be okay, but I just wanted to point out that it has broken up around my nose, and really sunk into my smile lines now, but it's taken quite a while to like properly sink in quite bad. Overall, it's still an okay foundation, and I'm actually still pretty impressed by how well it's lasted. Like, bearing in mind this has been on my face for 7 hours. So I'm on to my last check-in right now. I feel like this foundation went from 100 to about 10 real quick. As you can see, my smile lines are awful. You can actually see the foundation in the smile lines. Like, it is the weirdest thing. Normally I just get smile lines and that's it, but the foundation seems to have like seeped through the smile lines, and it's just, I feel like a wrinkly old woman. It's coming away around my chin here and around my nose. To be fair, I have been sweating a lot because it has been so hot in the UK recently, and like my house has been so warm today. I like how the foundation looked for about the first 5 hours, and then after that it seems to have gone completely like downhill. That can be prevented by like literally wiping away the smile lines, and also by probably powdering again. That's totally fine, but I mean, if you're out, then it's a little bit annoying. I know pretty much every single foundation does the same thing, but it's just weird as to how like the foundation seeps through the smile lines, if you get what I mean. Nevertheless, it's still overall a good foundation. Bearing in mind this has been on now for 8 hours, so it has been on for a long time, but this is what it looks like after 8 hours and basically a full day. Okay, so that was my full review, first impressions and wear test on the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation. Like I did mention, this is now available to buy in the UK now. I will leave the link to where you can buy it down below. As far as I know, right now I'm pretty sure it's sold out in every single shade, unfortunately, but Beauty Bay are going to restock, so don't worry, I got you. But nevertheless, if you did enjoy this video and find it helpful, then don't forget to smash it a big massive thumbs up. And also feel free to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure you do also tap that little bell down below so you are notified every single time I post videos a little bit like this one. As always, all my social media links will also be linked right down below, so if you feel like giving me a follow and having a little gander about what I do and stuff like that, then feel free to give me a follow. I'm now finally gonna wipe all this makeup off because I've been sweltering hot and I feel like it's just been melting off my face for the past 8 hours. But nevertheless, I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully I will see you on my next video. Bye!